Welcome to this edition of Miles Ahead, and this time we're looking at one of the most exciting cars to have been launched for many years. This is the Toyota GR Yaris, so not the car that your nan would take to the supermarket and sit in the middle lane of the motorway doing 65 miles an hour in. This has been given the full Gazoo racing treatment. So Gazoo racing is a bit like what AMG is to Mercedes, Gazoo racing is to Toyota, and this is a rally homologation special, which basically means it's been designed to compete in the World Rally Championship, and as part of that, they had to make 25,000 for the road, and we are lucky enough to have one here today. So the price of this car starts at just a shade under £30,000. This does come with the circuit pack, so the price of this is £33,500. Circuit pack brings front and rear tools and limited slip differentials. You get the 18-inch wheels, those Gazoo racing red brake calipers, and it's got a circuit tuned suspension as well. So if you're going in for this sort of car, then it's probably worth investing in that as well. But we'll have a quick look round. So the only bits that it shares with the standard Yaris are these front headlights, I think the wing mirrors, the fin at the top, and the rear tail lights as well. They're all the same. As you can see, this is just a 3-door hatchback, so they had a few problems with the aero with the rear doors, so they just got rid of them, and you can sort of see why. So it's got quite an aggressively sloped headline, which does cramp space in the back, but you know, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, and as we come round, you can see I really like these wheels actually. So the 10 spoke, 18 inches, I think they really suit the profile of the car. I think they look really good actually, and you get these nice little GR touches around the car as well, so you know what you're getting with this car as well. And it's got the twin exhausts out the back, and they are as they are, and I think again they suit the profile of this car as well. So yeah, another bit of GR badging here and here on the back. And while we're here, we'll just have a quick look in the boot. Because this is four-wheel drive, it does have a smaller boot than you would expect normally. So this is only 170 litres, so it's not that much bigger than the trunk you'd get in a McLaren 620R, for example, and then you've got your various gizmos in the back there. But anyway, let's see what it's like inside. So this is the interior of the Toyota GR Yaris, and again we've got several GR touches here. There's a GR badge on the steering wheel, there's a GR badge on the starter motor, and there's GR badges on the headrests as well. Other than that though, it's, you know, it's classically Toyota. I think it's all, you know, quite intelligently laid out in here. The steering wheel button functions work well. It's very easy to set the adaptive cruise control, turn the lane keep assist on and off, because that beeps at you intermittently, which can be mildly terrifying at times because it doesn't always do it when you go across, but that's easy enough to turn off as well. And obviously you can control the stereo and everything through here. So you've got touchscreen up here, that works quite well. You know, it does a job. It's easy enough to connect your phone to. It's got sat nav and, you know, DAB radio and all that sort of stuff, so no real complaints on that front. Got a handbrake. That's how old school is that in this day and age, so nice to have a good old-fashioned handbrake there. So when you're moving, that just disconnects the rear axle, so if you do want to behave like a total hooligan and get it out sideways around roundabouts and that sort of thing, quick yank on that will do the trick. Otherwise, you know, it's all pretty plastic in here. It's nothing that you wouldn't necessarily expect. You know, the gear lever on this car is raised 5 centimeters from the standard version, just to make it easier to access the gear stick down there. And you know, there's a lot of plastic stuff going on here, like there's the battery cover in here isn't particularly well thought out, and you know, you can change your driving modes down here between sport, track and normal. There's a USB charging cable there, and there's just another like lump of plastic there. I don't quite know what that's doing there. And you've got a couple of other controls here, so it will do the sort of start up, start off when you're in traffic, you can turn traction control, and the INT is for rev matching when you're on the down changes. But the best touch of the Gazoo racing in here is this WRC, developed for FIA World Rally Championship, and I can safely say I haven't driven many cars with one of those badges in. So anyway, let's get along to the driving experience. Okay, so this is what this GR Yaris is made for, so we'll open her up a little bit to start with. So you don't get too much noise from the engine. I don't know if it will come through on the sound in this video or not, but you get an augmented sounds engine noise through the speakers, which is sort of designed to make it sound like a bigger engine than it actually is. I probably want to do away with that over time. It sounded alright at first, but I'm starting to find it a little bit irritating. So I'll carry on with the negatives actually, because it is fantastic to drive this car, but there are just a couple of little drawbacks with it. So The 3 driving modes are very succinct in this car. So in normal, you get 60% of the power to the front wheels. In track, it's 50-50, and in sport, 70% of the power goes to the rear wheels. So you've got 3 quite different settings, although I must say I've been leaving it in track most of the time. That 50-50 balance is really good, because you can throw it into a tight corner and just pin the accelerator, and you just get so much traction in this thing. I mean, it's unbelievable. There's not many cars you can do that in. You just get to a tight corner, chuck it in, get straight on the power, and it works brilliantly. And there's that lane keeping assist beeping away for some reason there. But yeah, I mean, the driving experience in this car is great, and the one thing that really surprised me with it is just how quick it is. I mean, it does 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds, but it just feels so much faster than that, especially once you get moving. It just flies. It just gets up to the red line straight away. So red line's at 7,000 RPM. You start to lose a bit of power at around 6,000 RPM, so that's when you need to be changing gear. The gearbox is okay. I've had a couple of problems. I've been missing 3rd gear, going from 2nd to 3rd, and I mean, you might be sitting there thinking, well, that's because you're a crap driver, and there might be some merit in that, but I've not been doing that in other cars. We had a Honda Civic Type R a couple of videos back, and yeah, no problems. I mean, the gearbox in that was better, but you know, it's just one of those things, and it's, I think the gate's just slightly off in this perhaps. And the steering feedback's a little bit numb as well. You don't really get too much sense of connection with the road through the steering wheel, which is a bit of a shame. But I mean, none of that really detracts from how fun this car is, because it's got such a short wheelbase and such an aggressive engine, and it doesn't really weigh anything. I think it's 1,200 kilos all in. It just goes. I mean, it really goes, and it's just, yeah, whatever setting it's in, you can just really get the most out of this car, and all of the power in it's usable as well. It's not, you know, you're not leaving anything out on the road really, so even if you're just driving at slower speeds, you can still enjoy this car as much as when you're doing, you know, fast speeds. I mean, we're out on a country road at the moment, and you know, it's definitely where this car comes into its own. It's definitely at its best in this setting, but you know, with the adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist, and it'll do the auto steering for you as well, it's actually quite comfortable out on the motorway. And it's not the quietest. You do get a bit of wind and road noise, but I mean, they've made so many weight savings in this that those sort of little noises are to be expected. But I mean, all in all, it's just, I mean, finding a bad review of one of these cars is like finding hen's teeth. They don't exist. Everyone loves this car, and it's very easy to see why. You do just fall for its charm straight away. I think it looks great. I think it drives great, and it's just got so much going for it, and it's so unique in so many ways. You just don't get too many cars like this at the moment. I mean, yeah, like I said, we've been fortunate in recent weeks. We've had the Civic Type R, really enjoyed that car, and we had Caterham 7 as well, and now straight onto this. So we've had 3 out-and-out drivers cars, and you know, they're all about the £35,000 mark. So you're going to stray into the area of consumer advice here. Which one would you choose if you've got 35 bags of sand burning a hole in your skyrocket? What do you go for? Do you want a GR Yaris? Do you want a Civic Type R? Do you want a Caterham 7 310R? I mean, they've all got such unique propositions, I think. This is a real genuine outright pocket rocket of a car, and it just makes it so enjoyable. I think the Civic Type R, I think, as I mentioned, the gear change and the steering were a bit better in that. I mean, and regards of speed, I mean, they're similarly paced. I mean, this, you can really, like I say, you can just pin the accelerator through corners in this, and it just responds, and you get so much traction, and it's really good fun. Whereas the Caterham is definitely a one-trick pony. It's all about that driving experience. I mean, it's an overcast, cooler day today. Probably wouldn't be enjoying the Caterham as much as you'd be enjoying this. So, as you know, as an all-rounder, I think it does boil down to the Yaris versus the Civic Type R. I mean, the back seats in this, they're tiny, and you've got that sloping roof line as well, so that limits the headroom in the back of the car. So, you know, that's another detraction from this. So if you do have family and friends to transport around, then that would probably put the Civic Type R above it. But I mean, this just offers such a good, fun driving experience, and it just handles so well, and it's much quicker than you're expecting. And yeah, like I said, I mean, I've definitely fallen for its charms. I can see why everyone's loved this. There are a couple of rough edges, like I mentioned, the visibility, the steering, I'm not crazy about. The gear changes, I'm not mad about either. But I mean, just it doesn't detract from the overall proposition of this car, and it's just so much fun to drive. And you get it out on an open road, stick it in track mode, and yeah, you're just really going to enjoy yourself. But as you would in the other two as well. But I mean, as it's its own proposition. I really like this GR Yaris. So I feel fortunate enough to have had a week with it, and yeah, you wouldn't go far wrong if you got one of these. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the channel, please like the video. Of course, if you did like the video, we've got loads more stuff coming up. We've got Bentley Bentayga, we've got an Aston Martin DBS, we've got an Audi RS6, we've got a Jeep Renegade 4xe, we've got an Alfa Romeo Stelvio, and we're talking to a couple of other guys about a few more bits and pieces as well. So, you know, please hit subscribe, make sure you don't miss anything